Yahoo! Prof here. We've got another bit video for you guys. Nothing new in this one per se. Just wanted to show off some of the stuff I've been talking about for context in case you missed some of the older videos. And that is the DeWalt non-impact rated bits. Same case. And the older Milwaukee box. And that's going to go bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, I just did shoot a short with this guy. Where I show off its fluorescence. Did happen to have this guy in here because my work bag's in here. So maybe that'll help get some more views on that video. Unlike the main video, I'm saying. Reminds me, I still gotta put my grips on this guy. Oh, I was wondering, yes. I do use this. I just used this yesterday to put in some electrical boxes for some Ethernet. So yeah, even though this is a brand new one, I'm like, gotta pull it out and try. Once again, after putting it to use, I am very happy about getting the orange one, the molten orange. It was pops up like when you're like, oh, where's my? Oh, that's right there. Love that about it. That would be another way that I doubt the grip tape is selling well for LTT, just because it's such a niche product. But if it does, they make colored grip tape like for skateboards and stuff. They could very well. I was just realizing I still have this on my head. Yeah, if I don't remember, I walk around with my headlamp on all the time. I only realized I still had it on last night when watching TV, and there was a bright spot in the middle of my movie I was watching, and it turns out, oh hey, that's here's UV. Wee, can't even see it. It's kind of the whole point of UV. Yeah, until I was in the movie, and I'm like, what's that spot? Oh, my headlamp's still on my head, because often I'll just keep it on low. Usually I'm using it on number 2 when I'm actually like working on something. But yeah, from there. So first things first, I was showing you this guy. This came in a much older set of DeWalt bits. It's like a little tray. It fits these guys here, and it fits the short guys there. And the bits that were in here were some weird bits, and I may continue to put weird bits in there. But it goes right here. Now, what did I do to improve this? Well, the thing is I had to have a top and a bottom, because this rubber here would seal the top of this so the bits wouldn't fall when this flipped. Well, what I did to make this a little bit nicer is I actually put a bunch of neodymium magnets. And yes, I understand the north, they're way more magnetic here than they are on the side. That is why I put a whack ton of them in there. And initially I used super glue, but then I filled it in with hot glue there, just to kind of make it nice. And then I sanded it off as best I could, sanding it flush. So theoretically, if I take this now, I put that right there. These bits, maybe not this guy because it's a holder, right? These bits, though, should retain somewhat. And as you can tell, they are. So I'm quite happy with how that turned out. That's just an improvement I wanted. And I tried, you're like, oh, that would have been so much better if you did it flat. I agree. And I tried. However, they would not stay. I would have had to do, it would have taken so long to do them the correct way, like as in flat way this way. That one's always going to fall, because this one's already magnetic because it's a magnetic bit holder. But the more important thing is these bits stay. Well, unless I schwack it pretty hard. But vast improvement over. It's basically a little tray. Even when you keep this closed, as long as you open it the right way, they don't fall out. And it just gives me a way of getting some more unique bits or double-ended bits, or like because of this height difference, I can't put one of these in here. I don't necessarily have one, but basically I could only put like this skinny row of bits up top here if I didn't have this unique tray. What is kind of cool is you'll see some other unique parts coming up from Milwaukee. That's sometimes why I'll buy a bit set, is actually not for the... Does it work better this way? So I'll buy the bit sets for the pieces that go in here. Like right here too, I might put in I don't know, you could put a Phillips 2 and a T25 in there, or if you had like some weird little double-sided one. If I had more, I used to actually always carry one of these in there. All those. But that's my last one. So it stays in my main set where I can assume it will be based on that everything is in this set. I do think, by the way, and I was thinking about this the other day after the last video where I went over picking up this as well as picking up 2 of these. If you guys have no bits whatsoever, do not get the one that is bigger than this. There's one that like is like 2 of these side by side. That's not a great bit holder, though this one with how the mold was is not great. But I'm realizing later on what this all came with. And for the average person, the fact that it is all the Torx, all the hex, and I'm not sure if these are, I didn't look, are these metric or standard hex? These look to be standard hex. Now a lot of those line up with metric. But even if you don't kit it out the way that I did, how it came stock, I think the only thing that you would have had to add to have a pretty good set was, because it came with the 1/4 inch hex to socket adapters, right? You're just missing the 1/2 inch one. Go and get a 1/2 inch one. This bit extension was kind of cheese-tastic. Maybe get a better one of those, and you can have room in this case, because like I could easily fit, look, Torx, hex, and that's even with the tall ones. If you notice here, I could fit more rows of bits in both of these, and these are probably coming out. We'll figure that out in this video probably, how I'm doing that. But you could fit, like actually what comes in this kit, because you get 6-inch Phillips 2 and a 6-inch T25. Then you get the 3.5 inch Phillips 2 T25 and even square 2. And you have all those little bits. Like realistically, minus a better extension, like I would get like one of either the Milwaukee or the Milwaukee magnet setting one. Either short, or even longer ones than that. Like that, this base set is actually really, really good. Minus the fact that it does not have metric hex. So you'd probably, and DeWalt does make a metric hex set. So what you do is you take one of these that has like duplicate Phillips over here, take the bits out, put them in a drawer, put them in a little baggie or something, put that in here, and then have go and buy a metric hex set. So, but like even without that, it like you're pretty close to being set. I guess some of you might want to buy a better set of, because this says the 2 most common size, your 1/4 inch and your 5/16 magnet nut setters. Maybe you need a bigger set of those. Could buy those. They could live right here, because if you put another one of these in right here, it would fit perfectly. Or you could even put it from the top going down. This just gives you, like, if you're looking for one case to kind of fit it all, and you're willing to pare down with what it comes with, like even these extensions and these long bits I could put in one, So then you could have even more long guys, or you could have an entire one of just, like, I could take all of these and just put them in like that, and it would take up that entire thing. But I could basically put all of these in, and these for that matter are all of my individual 1/4" hex insert bits. So you could fit all of this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. So it's skip 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you couldn't fit all 10, but if you do look, this is security Torx, and that's security hex, right? And I think these security hexes are only standard. Yeah, they're only standard. I don't have metric security hex. I don't even know if that's a thing. At least in Milwaukee or DeWalt's ranges. If it was, I should own it, and they should be in here. And I would probably have to add another row right there. That's something interesting about Milwaukee's hex set too, is it came with these like 1/4" hex to like massive. I don't know what size that is off the top of my head. 1/2 inch maybe? Yeah, it's 1/2 inch. So you got to do a little funky stuff to get the, you know, that in there. And I could fit one more row if I move this down probably, and that down with it, and put a row like right there. I purposely leave this so I can get my little extension in there, as well as my ratchet flat. But yeah, this set is really good, and it was 20 bucks. Now, as far as I can tell, the sales at Home Depot Black Friday are now drying up. Like this, I can no longer add to the cart. You can do the $10 ones, but this $20 one you can no longer add to the cart. I think it's worth it just for the case. But yeah, I've pretty much decided. This is the big thing that made me go with this. That's actually the clips. That's it. Compared to when I had the big Milwaukee, all the shit was sloshing around. What did also help is what makes it easier to open is you put the taller, heavier stuff towards the inside, closer to the hinge. Also, you want to match the tall with the tall, because these bits hold these in, if that makes sense. It's part of my issue, it looks like. I need to move over this T25. See, then it holds in that heavy-duty extension there. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do with the extra space. Right now I don't. And that one on this corner, I think because of the molding issues, always falls out. But I showed you and have showed you, and we'll be showing you some stuff with hot glue. So that could be a very easy fix, is literally just take a little bit and put it right on these, I was calling them like French cleats. I don't know if they are necessarily, but this groove. It's only this like outer one here. I'm not sure why, but you could easily put some right there and some right there, because this is never going to move until it wears out. Also, if it ever does and I do have to change it, the hot glue is removable. Just heat it up with a heat gun, scrape it off. Problem solved. So now this thing, maybe it'll wear in a little bit better, but it is kind of, the mold's been used a lot, let's put it that way. So this thing very happily back in place, added some magnets to it. They're powerful enough, like these are retained now. Maybe not this extension, but it's living in there fine. So I can go back in action. It was just an idea I've had for a long time then, and I was going to order magnets off of Amazon. And after that, I realized I already owned a whack ton of them from doing PC modding, and they were the size I needed. I needed 8mm diameter circle ones, if I was going circle ones, which are usually the most common for the neodymium. Now, I said I would show you. This is my mom's set that she bought when I bought her the brain is farting. The Snap-on, I got a brand new in box with all the accessories, brand new, never used, pink Snap-on screwdriver. Lucked the fuck out with that one. Originally had bought her a well-loved one that was gonna have to go out for repair, but then, you know, I kept those alerts up on eBay, and I found one that it seemed like the guy had bought it for his wife or his daughter, and just never got used, so they sold it. And I was like, the price he originally wanted was sky high. I talked him down, and I'm like, hey, I really want, like, it is going to a person that is going to use this. You know, are you, like, please sell it to me. This is one that I put in here. Ignore that one. This is also an additional one that wasn't in here, I don't think. But yeah, so the reason why we got non-impact rated is because that's a screwdriver. It is not impacting. So these are the lower end DeWalt as of last year, the year before. I don't remember. Now the Max Ultras, that's basically what would be in one of these. That seems to be their current mid-grade, I believe. And I swear these have been out for a while. Maybe these are the slightly improved ones. Not 100%. If you know, same case. So they used to do impact rated, black case. Used to also be black bits. I've shown some of those older ones. And then yellow case would be like just the steel screwdriver 1/4" hex bits. And the reason why I added this one in here was because I blew through doing something, one of her bits, and I was like, hey, I will replace it with this. It does stand out though, so I will probably not. This is actually the only higher end ones, like I was talking about in the previous video, how DeWalt like randomly has like even higher end bits that are even wackier. So here would be like the mid-grade one, right? And then they add this like extra torque zone that's even thinner, and there's like multiple bulbous like things here. The other thing is that makes this annoying is that the magnet piece that attaches this guy, right? It attaches properly to this, right? To line up for like if you put a screw on here, it would suck up to it like that, right? If you take this thing and put it on this bit, if you can even get it on there, yeah, I can't even get it on there. So, oh, there we go, got it. I guess it kind of works the same, but like here's the weird thing, it's oddly long. So if I go to this setup and we go to your standard power bit, it's longer than a standard power bit. That's pretty standard. That's been around for decades at this point, right? So the higher end DeWalt is now oddly longer than a standard 2-inch, I believe, power bit. But if we then go to what would be our 3.5-inch power bits, right? We take this guy. It's shorter. Here, I'll even pull one of these out. So I don't know what they were up to. That might be why I gave it to her as well. It's because it's like an odd man out. I couldn't use it. You know. Oop. I'll have to check if I have more of these. But I had, at one point I had a whole set of these, and I'm pretty sure I only paid for the higher end set, quote unquote, higher end, was to get the box or the case that it was in. And it probably wasn't even in the case itself, because DeWalt pretty much uses the same case for everything nowadays. Tough Case Plus has been a thing for over a decade. It's just these inserts. So I'm like 99% sure, because I wouldn't pay more for better DeWalt bits, because they're not really all that better. But you can see here, now I gotta remember, I did reorient these, if you recall. Originally, this set was facing up that way with like a strip up there with a giant wide space here. And this is how the one my mom bought, that's just the screwdriver bits. There you go. It's just a DeWalt P2 China. They got this black tip. And you can tell they've been used. So this one's got wood schmutz on it. You know, it's T25. What I do need to get her in here, and I can probably steal it from one of these other kits, is a better extension. And no, that's not a better extension than that, I'm afraid. I think they're the same quality. If anything, it's shorter. Yeah. So I don't know if I would necessarily call that an upgrade. Oddly, this probably better matches. Like, that's what I was thinking. I almost gave her this one. This better matches in there like that. If you look at that. And if these are all shorter, we could get another row of bits in there for her. So maybe we'll go that route. That way, you know, she can have one of these, and we can actually get another row of bits in there and still get your finger in to be able to flick up these guys. Because what I did notice in here is that she does not have hex. Now, we'll get into another one for that in a second here. So one of mine that I plan on fixing, or not fixing, placing I should say, is this guy. That's Milwaukee's old case. That's their new pack-out compatible one. This is still Shockwave impact duty, and this is also Shockwave impact duty. Might be able to tell by the colors. It is not mine. I still did the labeling, but it's not mine. Well, it is now. We've exceeded that amount of time. So here's something annoying about these older ones. In order to get these bits out, right? In order to get the bits out of here, and I've done a whole video about this, about when this set came for free with the subcompact drill and impact driver set, right? Really nice set, actually. Not cheap. Much better than a lot of their sets I was seeing being sold on Black Friday, which was bigger case, basically the same as this. This set is this set for $20. Yes, bigger case. It'll actually fulfill all your needs. This set will actually also fulfill pretty much all your needs. And there are some pieces in here that if she ever doesn't need this, or we find a better setup for her, I will steal for my own Milwaukee setup that isn't in this. Now these are incompatible. This mechanism on the side here is almost the same as the new pack-out ones. If you look right over there, see, so that's basically the same. So what's annoying about these though is if I want, like, that's a Phillips 2 right there. And originally this was 2 kits of these. I split them up. If I recall correctly, I have the one that has the screw. Here, that shows you there. You have to tip it up. And then to get it out, you have to pull it out. So we have an extension like this. And one of them that's like a screw doodle. And then I think one of our other ones was like, probably like the bigger DeWalt that was in my mom's kit there. For that. So I had to split that up. Then in a lot of these, the reason why this one's tipped over kind of here is because I didn't have enough bits in here. Originally, there would have been enough bits between the different sets to fill out all of them. But what I ended up having to do is to get everybody, every set had a full set of hex, that's standard and metric, full set of Torx, and then this is Phillips 1, 2, double 2, 3. That's a Phillips drywall bit from Milwaukee. Square 1, 2, 3, and all the slotteds. So I managed. This was like a holiday one that they did years ago, where it actually came with 2 of these, and it was like one set was like your standard, and it had a whole bunch of Phillips slotted square, maybe some Torx in it, and the other one I'm pretty sure was all Torx, all hex with duplicates, and I was able basically I could see that when I bought it for work, so that we could have 2 people having this, and we just split it up, basically deduplicated it. And the annoying part that you just saw here, and that's why I left this gap here, is you actually have to flip that up like that to take the bit out. Now they intend you to use this little ridge here. That's not fucking happening. You basically gotta get the reason why I can't put these closer is you gotta be able to get your finger in there. And for those that wondered, the PR2, that's only standard 2 DeWalt, right? Nope, there's a PR2 right there. They're specifically for drywall. I have personally not used them for drywall. And you can see here, trying to push this down, this bar flexes before it actually wants to go down. Now you can get them closer if you don't leave this gap up top, like where my finger is, right? See, gap, gap. You can put them one step closer. You have to leave a gap in the bits, so then you can get your finger in like that. Now, while this was works, I just dealt with it, because they're the ones that bought it. It was better than not having bits. I mean, you gotta remember, I had to convince them to buy a fucking $100 drill driver set, like the entry-level M12, just so we had something for mounting and drilling holes and shit, and oy, oy, oy. And I want to say 2 of these was like $35 or something like that. I did get reimbursed for it, but yeah. So I was trying to make do, at least 2 people, you know, in some cases then we could, if we really had to split it up, somebody could have a drill and somebody could have a driver. Or I have my own original Milwaukee 12 volt screwdriver, so I would use that for most things, but I at least had a kit that wasn't my bits. It was, I don't know, I feel like if it's a job where they tell you they're going to provide all the tools, they should provide you all the tools. You know, I still did bring some of my stuff in sometime. If you guys have seen the silent bit builds or silent PC builds, those may have happened, you know. Hey, what you gonna do though? So this kit though is going to go into one of these. Remember how I bought 2 of these? And I needed these inserts, right, for one of my other bit sets. Well, the actual case of this and some of the holders in there are going to be for the bits that are in here, because I'm fucking sick of this damn thing. Okay, so you know we've talked about on their new one, Milwaukee bits could be more secure. They're too secure, okay? Now we'll go into the newer case. This was my first introduction to it, and it turns out I've still not seen one like this. There is a cutout here on these bits to allow for up to 2, maybe even 3 6-inch bits. Right. Let's see here. If I grab standard, not an extension, we'll grab Phillips 3, Phillips 2, Phillips 1. Look at that. You could fit 3 6-inch extensions in there and still have bits and still have these. I may type these. That's what I was talking about before. As for like weird bits. So that's really cool about this one. I have not seen the ability to buy, like this is a standard bottom, but to buy these uppers that still take insert bits, but allow you to put in a 6-inch like extension. That was a big thing about this kit of giving it to my mom when we got it. She'll be using it with the subcompact set or some of the other tools around the house. I don't care if she uses my bits. We can replace them. We've got enough around here. She feels bad doing it because she thinks if she strips it out a little bit or wears it out, you know, then she's got to replace it. And I'm like, you guys have seen, I have drawers of them. How many are right up here alone? That's Gertrude. Hey, Gertrude. How are you? You're blocking the light? Yeah, you are. So the only dumb part about this kit is these things. They're too heavy to be retained by this insert bit row. And they just like flop around, right? So what I was going to do is take these two, because they are impact rated, right? So I got plenty in all of these. And swap these two. Some of you may not like, some of you may prefer that, but realistically, these are just insert bit style ones, whereas I think the power bits here would be much more useful. So they're going to go in here for her. I don't think her other one has any. Oh, okay, it's got non-impact rated ones. Okay, so I'm also going to take this guy out and swap in the shorter one. That way they're all the same height. We can put some more rows in here, right? Because these are all the same height now. And I will find a replacement for that because this one does that same sort of thing that's out of place. I'm sure I have plenty if we go looking. But instead of these, and instead of this guy, right, I'm going to replace it with this guy. This guy. And these two. They really don't want to stack up, do they? I bet you I know I can do this. Short guy, long guy. Nope. Short guy. That fits fine. Long guy. Short guy. Nope. I have to go like that. Milwaukee is just trying to cram one more. Okay, so on DeWalt, they have 5 here. Oh, let me zoom on in. This is kind of what this video is about. It's just me playing on the layouts of these. Milwaukee has 1, 2. They have 5 in the DeWalt. These are slightly wider, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they are really trying to cram it for these normal bits. However, what that means is when you want to do these bits, the ones that need a bit more room, you are not going to fare nearly as well. Because this guy can't be right next to that guy. See, it doesn't work. So this guy can be on the edge. Then this guy, maybe. Nope. Then this guy. Then this guy. That fits, right? Now this one, for the 5/16, we gotta skip one hole. And then we can have our long extension and our short extension. There you go. So I think that's a better layout. We don't have to have these two guys. Basically, when I got this, these were actually sitting down here. That's where she'd ended up putting them because they constantly fall out of those upper holes. Now this does get to another piece that I would want out of here if I was running the Milwaukee. Now remember, it doesn't work on the double wide Milwaukee, only works on the single wides. But on these thicker ones, so that would probably not include the slim clear topped one that I have, right? Look at this awesomeness. They have bits, tall bits in the back with insert bits in the front. That's what I was looking for. English. Now something else looking at this that I want to redo is here's a T10, here's a T15, T20, another T20, T25. Come on, yeah. T25, T27, T30, T40. Okay, so we're gonna make one row of Torx up here, and I will have two T25s. The other T20 I'll just keep extra externally. But then all of your Torx are in a row there. Personally, like they have the square in the middle. No. The likelihood of us needing square is very, very limited. So put the Phillips in the middle. Right, I do the Phillips 2 bang in the middle, and then these are both square 2s, I think. Square 2, square 2, boom. Let's see here, we got square, we got slotted, we got some more slotted down here. Then we have all the hex. I would probably take the hex and put them up there. Just like that. Then what do we have? We got 5. Hey, we can fit 5 right there. So because Phillips are probably your #1 used item, I'm going to take them and put them down here for now. Right? We got all of our different Phillips sizes. It's weird. They give you like a bunch of two power drive Phillips too. Like this kit actually comes out very well. Now it does only have standard hex, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought there were going to be 5 slotted. I guess I can't math. 3/16, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 9/32. All right, so boom, 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 something like that. And then we've got our T25. What I would do is probably scooch these down one. So then you can have your extra T25 right there if you don't want to keep it separately. And then we got some room for some other random stuff in here. And I just think that's like, to me, this is a more logical orientation because you've got, I mean, worst case, if you don't want that right there, you can put it up here because you're out of room for the hex, right? Down here kind of makes sense though because you're going to grab it with those. I think it works much better because now we have a 1/4 inch ratchet or a 1/4 inch socket adapter. We have a 3/8 socket adapter. We have a 1/4 inch nut driver, full size power bit, and a 5/16 rather than these little guys. And the reason why I could keep this Milwaukee 3/8 inch drive in there, but with the longer length, it clears the sockets so it can fit more stuff in here. You got to remember these supposedly that yes, traditionally you need the black to be impact rated. However, with DeWalt, they haven't been since their initial stuff, right? So that is how I would rearrange this with some stolen from other kits, right? And the other thing that we need to replace is that one that I stripped and kind of stole out of there. So let me go and grab the drawer of number 2 bits. Yeah, so I must have had a run on whatever those were, because, like, see, I got a bunch of whack ton of Phillips 2s and T25s. So we're gonna take this guy out of here, and then we will replace it with something that more matches. That's a Phillips 3 and a Phillips 2 here. We'll replace it with a Phillips 2 that matches her existing set here. Boom. There you go. Now they're all the same height, so if I want to add some more rows, like say I want to take these with all the bits in, which is making it very kittywampus, we could put at least one more row. If potentially, if you don't want to be able to get your finger in there really easy, 2 more on both sides. So the other thing that I might change in here is 1, 2, 3, yeah. So what I would probably do is take this guy and the square guy out and put T25, Phillips 2 here, your most common ones, and then your less common right like that. And then, like I said, I replaced that with that shorter one. Here's the other. It is a little bit longer, but for in this case where they were all basically this, if you notice, those are just like, these nut drivers are basically tarnished versions of that already. So I think that's a better fit to give us that. And I can get another row of bits in here if I wanted. So she's got, and what I mean by that is she's got Torx. We got lots of flatheads. We got a lot of Phillips. We got squares. What we don't have is hex in there. So I could go into, and none of these sets have hex, right? But I could go into my bigger set here where I had bits I didn't know what I wanted to do with, and take the hex set out there. And it's got security Torx. I didn't even realize that. The fact that this bigger set has security Torx for $20 is crazy good. So, but yeah, what I might do to build this out for her just a hair more is take out, these are standard because that's a 1/16. That's a standard hex here. Add since I have no need, And then what you have to do at a minimum is flip these up. Right? And yes, these are supposedly impact rated. So it's going to make it a little bit different, but there you go. Scroll those down. Most of, if these wear out on her, I'll replace them with impact rated ones. If unless I have none, but almost everything is nowadays. So there you go. She could pull this out. That's her little extension. That's another thing I might do, because to make that more accessible, that's going to be very similar to this one though. I might mark this with like yellow or something to make this more obvious that it's the extension rather than the 1/4-inch nut driver right here. See, that's a 1/4-inch nut driver. That has been used too. Take a look. She has used that. Like I said, even like a mom around the house, getting her a nice set of bits is, you know, and that's where you could fit, and I can actually show you this, you could fit one more row in here if you really wanted to fucking push it. She's using that square, that's for sure. So if we took, oh, yeah. We took this row of Torx bits. Took this row of Torx bits and we put it here. Technically, that would fit, right? From a usability standpoint, that's butts. So we're not going to do that. But I can show her tomorrow that, hey, I got you a little shorter extension because she wants a longer one. She's got her 2 longer ones in here. That's a 2-inch. I think that's a 3-inch, 3.5-inch. And then I gave her 2 nut drivers. And she already had, nut drivers here, but she didn't have the power version, or the power bit versions. They were just the insert bits, which were just flopping around up top here, and they were actually, like I said, she just tossed them under here so they wouldn't, I'm guessing she would flip it open and they fall out every time. Putting this here also has made that fit much better, having this guy pushing it that way. But yeah, this sort of stepped guy, if this ever gets used up or changed out or decommissioned, I will be all for getting this step guy. Milwaukee, sell this piece separate of this bit set and sell these pieces separate of this bit set. Like, you sell inserts, but the super bog standard kind, not the kind of cooler ones that you do like more complex. Because think about it this way, if you had this, you could put that, they don't even put it all the way at the bottom, right? If you put it all the way at the bottom, you could have at least 2, 1, 2, with this over here. That should give you plenty of bits, because a lot of these are duplicates, not this row or this row. Over here and there, a bunch of those are duplicates. So you could probably get, if you reduced, say, 1 row of these to hex, 1 row of those to Torx, and then in the front, right? You could then have your Phillips slot headed and square, and you got a couple extras here, right? You could easily make that work in here and have way more of the power bits. And depending on where you placed it, you might even be able to have the 3.5-inch power bit on the bottom, right? And then the 2-inch power bit on the top. That would be a really cool arrangement of that. So, but just thought I'd show you like what's unique about this kit and why I thought it came with a full set of Torx, a full set of at least like US American Standard hex, and this extension is a decent extension. I used to buy those separately for good money, and that's just the smaller version of it. The only thing that was kind of sad in it really were these guys. And we upgraded it. So But yeah, I thought this was a good kit. This kit, however, I think is $35. You get more in that DeWalt kit if you buy it on Black Friday for 20. Though it's more compact, so it depends on, you know. But that I really do think that Milwaukee kit is a good example. I think we rearranged this one quite nicely. Rearranged it, gave her room for a whole nother row there, and added in a whole row of Hex into here for, and they are even impact rated. Not that this is the non-impact rated kit. That's the sort of thing too, is if you know you're not going to use an impact driver with it and you don't want, like, I personally would rather just have it all be impact rated. Save some money. Get the lower end non-impact rated ones. They'll be cheaper, especially if you need the kit and it's off sale time. You know, like it's not during one of the holidays, because they can get quite expensive. Like I want to say not on sale. They might push that as far as a $60 bit kit. Do not spend that. Holy fuck. These guys are quite unique though. And I did type those out of that Milwaukee set because I want to put them in one of my sets. Because I always do appreciate the double-ended goodness. I don't know if they're going this set because I don't really... This set's pretty hardcore figured out. Well, depending. I might be able to replace this guy. Not the extension. This is an SL6. And this is a 1/4 inch. SL6 and 1/4 inch look to be right about the same. Let's compare that to an SL8 here. This is an SL8. It's the more common from DeWalt. Yeah, that's a much bigger. I would have to get out my caliper to see thickness wise. So that's the weird thing. This looks to be the thickness of an SL8 with the width of an SL6. So the point of flatheads, and actually why if you get like and I have it on my list, is these are hollow ground, right? But the big thing is like that gunsmithing kits are actually hollow ground, and you have different thickness and widths of slotted. Like it's not that simple. If running what I was looking at, one of these is this T25, I could fairly easily eschew. Let's put it that way, right? Because I could put in this guy. That'd be a T25, because the T25 Phillips 2. Oh, it doesn't fit. I can't put it there. No. All right, so that crushes my dreams. We'll just keep these guys in here. And I will find a different place to put these. They are apparently that weird longer. Okay, they're weird longer, but they're not the same weird longer as the DeWalt. This is why we're supposed to have standards, people. This is why we're supposed to have standards. But I do want to put these to use. This guy might get moved. I also have a countersinking bit that I probably want to put in my big guy up there once I figure out what I'm doing with that. These guys could probably go in there as well. So first things first. I probably said that a billion times already. This guy here, we need to orient to replace this. This case at least. So what that looks like to me is take all these T25s. I'll show you, this is a downgrade from previous ones. This is okay, so here is the old ones. Old ones that I've been using for a while. You saw Phillips 2 or Torx T25 and that other kit. This was the updated one that's like weirdly longer, right? But like not in the same way. Like it's not the same width up there either. Very weird. So here they stamped the T25 on. Here they're doing maybe laser etching. That's gonna wear off. It's already smudged on a bunch of these. Like, this could be pad printed even. I'm not sure, but that's gonna wear off. So looking at the bits, here you can see too, the tip. A lot of these places are trying to make that complex tip geometry as small as they can, right? Because that's less to mill. Also, do you really need a T25 that goes that far? Probably not. But what I'm going to do with all these is take, oh, that's a T20. I don't know that I have a drawer of T20s. Maybe we'll put that over here for now. Square 2, let's hope. Yeah. See, look, it's just like square 2. They're definitely cheaping out. I don't use enough square. Here's an OG DeWalt impact rated square SQ2. You can see they were always just like, almost looked like an Allen key with like the bit cut out. Then here's the original Shockwave from Milwaukee, which if you ever hear people saying Shockwave bits wear out quickly, this is the generation where they just have this milled out part there. I think that they're relating to, because if they're talking about their newest one, maybe not the newest one. Somebody told me that the white lined ones are actually newer. And I can show you that. So here, older, newer. From the actual design of the bit, like the manufacturing of it, I can't see anything. So maybe they changed like metallurgy, right? Maybe that's a lighter, like that's shinier, and that looks like to be more like a sandblasted tip. Unsure. Yeah, like if you look at this tip of this T25 versus this long T25, they're definitely slightly different. So they must have changed. The collar length is different too. This is much longer. Here, if you look at that, see? And you can see that these new extensions that have the magnetic holders in them have the new white lines. If you see the white lines, those are the latest Milwaukee. I don't necessarily know that that's as huge, like a huge change compared to like when they went to, after the Matrix Carbide, to that sort of silver tip, black bottom design. But it does seem to be updated. The tip geometry is slightly different. Hopefully it's just a improvement on what we knew already did well, right? So this guy, I actually need 2 of these. Luckily, I need 2 of these for that other case I was showing off yesterday on the previous video. Oh, Jesus. I need to get like a pry bar or something. I need 2 of these for the other side of one of these cases. Pry bar. Spudger. You can spudge anything. If running these this is how hard these are supposed to be to take out. And I like that one other case that's slightly bent so that one side always folds out. And at least from my experience, they're not easy to. Oh, and then I hit my. Took a whole bunch of skin off once I finally loosened it up. There we go. So there's one. I need this for one of those other cases. This is Philippe number 1. Philippe number. Oh, if you're wondering, I do have these as 213. The reason why is on these drawers, this and this are the biggest ones. And usually I'm going to have the most Phillips 2s. Here, you can see a slight difference. They're putting a larger, they call this like a shock area on these newer DeWalts. Now, if you look on the like the in-between or the higher end, but this generation, but higher end, they have like double shock areas. Now they are getting rid of this little notch. I never knew what that little notch was for, because on the insert bits, it's for locking into an impact. There's like actually like a collar, like a spring clip collar that goes around it. And I do prefer bits that have those. But I don't know what it would be doing up there. Like, that's too far up, if that makes sense. Oh, and I only have 2 of these Bosch. Ooh, I got Milwaukee down there. Haha. But I have only 2 of these Bosch, a Philips 2 and a Philips 1. They came with my Bosch Go. Oh, no, not that guy. Came with my Bosch Go Professional, or Bosch Go 2 Pro. These are expensive and apparently don't last that well. And me looking at them, how skinny they are, and they were claiming that their impact, like, look at that Philips one. I feel like I could break that myself. Just tink. Not saying Bosch makes bad bits. I just don't know if personally I would trust that one personally. And I don't think on Project Farms testing it rated very well. And let's just put it this way, I was not surprised. So let's get this out. We got our second one that I need for my other bit setup, right? This guy can come out. These are probably more Philips 2s. Philips 2, Philips 2. Yeah, though I'm going to use up my Milwaukee or my better ones first. I'm not going to have any problems with Philips for a while. Let's put it that way. That's why when people, I may not be able to provide them with a box because I'm kiping all the boxes, but if they're like, hey, I need a quick kit setup, I probably have enough bits to get you a, maybe not with the like the really specific hex stuff, right? But most definitely with your other basics. Oh, I forgot we got more of these. Shit. So these have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shit. All right. I need to go get other drawers. I should probably just bring that whole cabinet in here. Let's go for a walk. I'm not done configuring this yet. I can see some Irwins in there. Maybe I'll pull those out as I go. Maybe I won't. It's almost like I should probably pull out the Milwaukees as well, because I have so few of them. Better to have them separate and use them up, or at least like put them on top. Here we've got, oh yeah, I did separate those ones out. I have a feeling I should just take this whole shit in there. Alright, you guys are going to the pocket. Oh, some of these drawers may even need to get rearranged. Since, well, I didn't have any space for that T20 and the Philips 1. Long boys. Yeah, I don't know that I have to keep the Milwaukee's out or the Irwins. I just have to kind of pay attention. Otherwise they're gonna get buried by all the DeWalt. Let me grab my. Here you go. I said I never used the magnet on the LTT screwdriver, but boop, boop. Oh, here's the high-end DeWalt's as well. All right, so I don't know what generation these are from, but here is DeWalt black impact rated DeWalt. That looks like a standard bit. They're not their usual like. Okay, so here's a max fit from a couple years ago. Whoopsies. Oh geez. Where the frick did that go? Oh, there it is. Okay. So here are just the variants that I have. And then here is the new Max Fit Ultra, supposedly. I can't get it out of there. Let's grab it out of here. There you go. So that's supposedly the Max Fit Ultra. That looks the same as that to me. This guy, supposedly this is better than that, or newer than that, right? And that was supposedly the impact rated, and you can see it's completely different. I don't know if completely different OEM makes it or what, but and if we go back even further, here's their, like, they used to literally just take a freaking Allen key and chop some bits out of it, I swear. I've got a lot of those yet too. So okay, that's a Phillips 1. That's a 2, 2, 1, 1. Come here, Mr. Irwin. Got a lot of squares there, Irwin. Man, oh man, in that area there were a lot more squares being used. I tell you what, got a lot of square 2 Irwins. Phillips 3. This is not the Torx box. Not the Torx box. Square though. Square 2. Square 2. Square 2. So here's something that we already know as well, is that we can, if we want, get those a heck of a lot closer. If this bit would let me. Come here, bit. Drawer bits here. But yeah, that is why, I mean, like, I can give somebody probably 2 of the common sizes and 1 of the uncommon sizes, one that's not more specialty stuff, and be okay. If they need them. I don't need this many. Especially when I'm going to probably use certain ones before others, you know. here's a classic DeWalt T20. Yeah, I never understood these OG shockwaves. Never liked them much. They seem to strip out rather quickly. Yeah. I feel like they only added that sort of like necking there for flare. Yeah, throw it on the ground. Get back in there. Do what I tell you to. So this is a slotted, 2 slotted 8s. Yeah, I feel like those are. If you want slotted, whew, DeWalt's your guy, I guess. Shoe. What we're gonna have to do here, up here, is 1, 2, 3. Noticing how much I'm struggling getting it out of this one. That's exactly why it's going away. Okay, so that's as much as we can fit in that row. However, I believe this is still, yeah, it's a 1/4 inch, right? So what we're gonna, these guys had to be down a row, like one of those had to be down a row anyway. So the plan is to put these here, and then here's the 1/4. It was on the end there, right? And then here is the 3/16. So we can kind of get away with getting all the hex in one area there. Now we have 3 rows of these. But that's actually going to be more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 11. And that's 8. So that's 19. 3 rows is 21. So we're gonna still need 3 rows. To do that, we're gonna have to dip into our inserts that were from this big boy up here. All right. So all these Torx boys gotta go. I think all these are T25s. I think I need to swap. This is a T15 drawer. I wanted to keep these in order, but I have a feeling the T25 amount is going to get too big for that slot. And I will eventually have to... That's often why it goes 2, 1, 3. Is because that's the biggest... That and that back there are the biggest slots. Alright, so we got 1 row. Let's do... I put the Phillips away. Yeah, here's more Phillips. Here's 2 more Torx though. T20. T20. Odd that they don't, like, DeWalt seems to be against the T15s. When, if you use GRK screws, you're mainly using T25s or T15s. Odd. Some of the stuff may need to get shifted around a little bit. Having these back there. I think all these are Phillips too. 1, 2. Man, do you get a lot of screws for 20 bucks with that big DeWalt. I will say that. Like, you get a lot. 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah, I was right. Phillips 2 may end up having 2 rows. Guess I need to use more. The thing is I use less. As much as I use Phillips 2 for around the house, you're not going to do much when it comes to driving screws with Phillips 2s anymore, because all my GRKs are, and you can see with this DeWalt, I don't know what kit that was from, but I have very few of those black actual impact rated DeWalts. So I don't know what's up with that. Phillips 2. These are all probably Phillips through. And they know you're going to use Phillips 2s. Just makes me like, they expect you to be going through them to give you that many. You know? Or maybe they're just trying to fill out that kit. So we got our 3 rows here. Let's take one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We get 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I feel like slot is going to be our least used. See, what I'm debating is, do I put something like that in there, right? And I actually move these here. Like if I want the long boy bits. But if I have these guys, because I only have 5 slots, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus the extension, that's 7. I need 2 of so if I put this guy in here, just temporarily, right, and let me take a Torx. Jesus. Let me take this guy, let me put him in there. I think we got one more row we can get in there. Let's find out. Okay, that's there. Now let's take this guy, put him in here. Oh, come on, you. Get the fuck in there. Nope, you're kissing. So that won't work. So if I need 2 rows of those, which it looks like I do, I have to keep them. Where little guy go? To lock in. Alright, let's just get those put away so I don't have to fucking deal with them anymore. Square 2. Slot 8. And I can just deal with these little rubbery guys. That's often like, why do you have all these little drawers when you have all these cases? Well, it's because the cases have my actively used bits in. I don't need 3 slot 8s. I mean, like, maybe depending on the kind of work you guys do, you do, like, unless it's a size that I, like, T25, Phillips 2, and maybe T15. I would need 2 of. I also don't do a lot of on-site, like, construction work, I guess. Maybe, but I really think that these are a lot set up more for home gamers. So let's see here. Can I put a 3.5 inch bit? I can. So we're going to keep this 2 and 3 because that way I can put 3.5 inch bits. Here's a matrix carbide 3.5 inch. I can put that in there, which is good. And in this kit, because this is my like on-site PC repair kit, I may actually put a matrix carbide in there. Don't use it in your drill or your impact though. No, no, no. So Torx. All right. We have Mr. Philippe 1, multiple Philippe 2s, Philippe 3, a PR2, a drywall 1, and then I have 3. I would almost rather take this guy and put him back there by the slotted because I'm not going to use the drywall one very often, and then I can take the square and do 1. This old case, like, man oh man, if Milwaukee was worried about it retaining bits, it fucking retains bits. Holy bloody Jesus, does it retain bits. So in this case, and maybe we'll build it out a little bit better. For now, we just have that guy. I may actually have other bits in my tool bag that could go in here. Normally I build mine, looks like Torx left side, Phillips middle, then slotted, based on this guy I did last night. And I'm just going to use that as the new standard. Oh, and no. Oh, God, God. This case is getting thrown in the bin. We're only putting 1 square in here because nowadays they're not used that often. Well, it depends. Here, I will put the second square right there. But if I end up needing that slot for some other bits that I find in my toolbox out in the garage, it's going to get yeeted and tossed into one of these bins. This thing I can finally be rid of. So that's often what I'll do too, is say you'll get bits you do like I mean those Craftsman Allen keys I showed, or Allen bits, those were just in a like rubberized, it was not uncommon to have this just like, I don't want to call it blow molded, but like shaped silicone, like rubbery thing that was super shitty and annoying. Now this is way smaller and can easily go in my kit for work, right? And I do have an iFixit kit in there, the 1/4" bit sized one in that bag, and then I have the 4mm bit in my backpack. But those really shouldn't be used. Those are like hand tool strength only. You know what I mean? So I think this looks way cleaner. And I could get, like I showed you, I can easily get in here the 3.5" bits along this side, and it fits kind of all the other bits much easier. I just gotta label this up like some of the other ones you've seen, so that I know it's mine. Just because the number of people that I recommend go out and get these, even if they don't use the bits. And a lot of them will, because they don't give a shit about what bits, as long as they'll even use stripped out bits, and I have to yell at them about that. Looks like I've used this Phillips 3 before. Surprise, surprise. Never know what you find when you're on site. This is so much lighter than that Milwaukee too, even though it literally contains the same shit. What would actually be good to put in here, if I don't have anything else, are these 1/4" and 5/16 bits like that, or because you encounter these a lot in like HVAC and electrical sort of stuff. And as an on-site IT technician, you are going to run into that sort of stuff. So then I have enough room here. If I have some bits that can go in here, or I can yeet this one out and have 2 spots for bits that I want to use. This really is also not the optimal extension to have that, like, for the stuff that I do. The other one was more of a normal one, kind of like this, or the one that you saw in my mom's kit. I could probably upgrade it with, if I really wanted to. I have an extra. Now, this is supposed to be an extra, but I could take this and put it in there. And that's what's cool about this is it's an impact rated. And this is rare, an impact rated swivel. Normally, the bit extensions that can do this sort of little bit of pivot there, right, are not impact rated. You can see this one's been used before, but I have the other one in my other kit. So this is really supposed to be a backup for that, rather than like the main one for a kit. But maybe we can work on that. I gotta go look what's in my existing. There might be other bits I want to take out of my toolbox, but these guys will probably stay in there. I actually may have better options than those DeWalt's, potentially. Go check. So I have all sorts, as I thought. So maybe they're giving you the 2 most common. I actually have 3 rather nice Milwaukees in 1/4", right? Oh, I tore up that one a little bit, haven't I? 1/4". This should be 5/16. 5/16 and 3/8. So maybe that set goes in there. I know I do have a random one over here too. I don't know which size it is. It's a non-impact rated one. Yeah, so to be truthful, since I have so many of these, maybe I don't even put these in here, and I go boom, 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 like that. I wonder if it'll fit the other way. Sure will. so that for this kit, probably better. Realistically, if we eliminated one of these, one of those, I could have even fit them over there. But these are, if you look, they have brass housings on the magnets, whereas these don't. Usually they're those brass encased ones. They will last quite a bit longer than some of these other ones. But hey, might as well. Those are Milwaukee bits in the Milwaukee kit. I just have this. I think these are all the same 3 sizes. Oh, these guys can go in there then too. Yeah, I don't know why you would want this over that, right? Who knows? This one is captured, not even in a brass, something else. You can see it in there. So is that same thing? So, boom. There's what you do, why you buy the DeWalt kit, even if you already have Milwaukee bits, you prefer more, right? You can move it out of the DeWalt case, be much more compact, and look at this. Wow, look at that, I got a bit out without fucking struggling for a goddamn week. Ta-da! So that's literally why I bought 2 of these. I needed one for the case, right? And I needed one for the inserts, because they're going to go in the other guy that has my drill bits. Those cool stubby drill bits. I need inserts for the other side of that. Now, something that I'm not going to make you guys wait through, because you already watched all this fun, right, is I need to sort. And I prepped 2 new drawers. I need to sort all of my Irwin bits into all of those. So that's going to be a task. And probably a half. But you know, sometimes, especially now, we're going to have to charge the phone up before I shoot another video. We'll definitely have time to think about it, you know? Ugh. That was my stomach going brrrr. We'll see you in the next one.